Okay, for this video, I'm going to be revisiting some of my earlier ideas around automating the gate plugin, which is over here. And this gate plugin is basically set onto this particular channel here, which has a number of samples. Now, one of the important things about, let me put it this way. The sorts of things that I'm trying to illustrate here are basically how you can take a sort of a basic sample that, say, comes with the Ableton library. These samples have come primarily from the chop and swing library, which is here. So if one takes one of these samples and let's say we know that we can chop them up, we can put them into a simpler, put them into a drum rack, we can do all sorts of things with them. But we can also redesign the performance of them via using a gate plugin. And it's a very simple thing to actually do. So the way that it works is that the gate plugin is essentially closed whenever this sample is playing. And through sidechaining, which is selected here, we direct the sidechain towards a channel. Now I'm using impulse on channel 1, and I have basically a kick drum that's set on it. And this kick drum, we're not going to hear it, but the kick drum is essentially going to open the gate. And then when it opens, some of the sample will actually come through. Now, what this gives us is the ability to allow the sample to just run from start to finish, looping around, and the kick drum acts almost like a kind of a. It operates on the gate. It's almost like it opens the gate, so we just get to peek in a little bit, and we hear a bit of the sample, and then that goes away. So it closes. And the way that we achieve that is via our MIDI pattern. So as you can see, I've already got some things kind of set up here. And that's essentially it, really. I mean, I've put some other instruments around it, which are here. I've got a little kick drum here. So let me take this one out. And something of a percussion-y sort of top, which is here. The important thing is that neither of these two instruments are really that important, because actually what's really important is the bit that's coming on channel 3 here. That's the important bit. So basically channel 3, its gate is sidechained to this channel 1, which is basically a kick. Okay, so let's start with I'm going to move this MIDI pattern down. So let's start with a MIDI pattern that is essentially just 4 on the floor. So when we look at the gate, you can see it's sort of receiving the sidechain. Now we're not hearing anything partly because the sample actually isn't playing. So let's turn that one on, and here we go. Keep that level down a bit. So this is with the gate off. So basically it's a 2-bar drum pattern. Now some of the things that we need to do here, we can alter the gain of the sidechain part that's coming in. So that has effect in terms of whether the gate will actually open up. We also have the threshold, which if we bring it down, more of the loop will reveal itself. And we can also alter the return, so we can make it really tight, or we can make it sort of quite loose so that more of the signal, amplitude especially, sort of comes through. And then of course you've got your attack, hold and release here. So really tight release, looser. So you can hear a little bit more of the ghost notes from the snare kind of creeping through, right? Likewise, the floor will allow more artifacts to kind of come through. And if we have it really tight, it's not bad, right? So one has to kind of adjust this. And in these kinds of adjustments, they're really sort of going to be to taste more than anything else, right? So let's say we like that one. So that says 4 to the floor. So now, actually, I'll get rid of that one, and I'll bring the other pattern back up. So this pattern's a little bit different in that it starts halfway through the first beat, 2/16, nothing on 2, a little bit longer in the middle over beat 2, likewise over beat 3 and beat 4. This is a very different kind of pattern that's being asserted. So we might want to clean up those little bits of the clicks. Maybe something like that. If we raise the threshold up, only little bits will actually start to creep through. There's some nice stuff going on with the bass drum with that particular rhythm pattern. Now this is one of the reasons why I actually have, say, like a kick drum here, so you can hear its relationship to 4 on the floor. Bring the other one in. Being Ableton, again, we can highlight sort of parts where we just loop a small section, say like that. If you've watched anything on my channel, you always know I kind of like doing this sort of thing, because essentially we're taking a 2-bar loop that's in 4/4, and we're basically having sort of 5/16 notes. This is the duration here. So here we just have 2/16 notes at the end of the first beat, and because we're looping these 2/16 notes are basically altering the audio as it passes through, as it hits the gate. That's what we hear there, right? If you change the start position, then you can create more permutations, right? And it will reveal different parts of the loop to you. Let's try that again. So from the beginning. If we move this to the second 16th note, just in this section here. We move to here, so that's on the and. So what we hear much more is the kick and snare, right? And then on the last 16th note, and then back round again. Now, one of the things I like to do, and I would encourage you to do, is basically being able to do this in real time. It's really, I mean, it's fantastic that we can program all of this, but you know, sometimes it's nice just to gather materials for a production just by interacting with it, rather than necessarily thinking, now I have to sequence everything, okay? So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that, and more to come. Bye for now.